You're watching KWQC TV, the news leader, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, spring is a week away, if you can believe it, and many of us are planting our gardens. We're planning on it anyways. The Illinois Extension is here to help us with our horticulture vocabulary.
And spring means plants and flowers, but it also means rain and storms. Ace Waterproofing will answer your questions about basement flooding and protecting your home's foundation.
Some work you leave to the professionals, like waterproofing, for instance, but other home improvement jobs, they can be done yourself. Details on the Handy at Home workshop series, teaching homeowners how to tackle tasks around the house. Welcome to Quad Cities Live. It is Thursday, March 13th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Morgan Otier.
I'm Kyle Keel. You want to mark your calendars for next Saturday, March 22nd. It's a one-day-only, all-ages live music and arts event called The Spring Thing.
Yes, here to tell us about it are musicians from a band called The Textures, Kelsey Kays and Justin Bain. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, welcome. Let's start with the band. And you guys have some t-shirts that you brought and some cool stickers. Tell us about The Textures. There's quite a few of you in the band, actually.
Yes, there's 6 of us.
Wonderful.
Justin plays guitar, and I sing, and we've got keys, bass, drums, and my husband actually also plays guitar.
Oh my gosh.
And we make original funk music, kind of poppy, a little bit of jam, just high energy, kind of get your dance on
Yeah, a
music.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
we love
very
it.
cool.
How long have you guys been together?
6 years almost.
6 years.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some photos there of you and the band. Looks like you guys have a great time. What are some of the venues you perform at?
Well, we've performed at the Redstone Room in the Quad Cities many times. I feel like that is a home
good spot.
staple.
It's a
good spot, yeah.
Yeah, Whiskey Stop in East Moline. Of course, Ribco was a big stop for
sure.
us, and yeah, O'Keefe's in Moline. We've been down there a time or two.
Recently, we've gotten a chance to do some festivals. We did Alternating Currents,
Oh, good
that's
for
awesome.
you. Yeah.
Sweatstock.
I love that one,
summer
too.
camp. So
Yeah.
trying to get out to additional venues outside
Yeah.
the Quad Cities, but we've had a home base here for a while.
Well, that is really cool. And we're going to talk about your event in just a minute, but I think we have a clip from one of your
hear it.
performances so people can take a listen.
Oh, what a great voice.
I know.
What great playing. This is
You guys
awesome.
are awesome. Yeah, you have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so Justin, tell us a little bit more about the spring thing coming up. This is your guys' 2nd year hosting this live music event.
Yeah, so I came up with the idea last year. There's a ton of events in the summertime,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I wanted to think of something in the spring. And originally, I kind of envisioned like a cabin fever show, just something to get people out towards the end of winter.
Yeah.
And then, we decided that early spring was going to be better, just because it's hard planning things in the wintertime with
Yeah.
the weather. And so, it's just an event to get people out and warmer temperatures, and so
Yeah.
That is very
Yeah.
cool. It's at the Stardust,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's also good because the weather, I mean, I don't care what month it is. The weather in the Midwest in general
crazy.
is always
Yeah,
crazy.
you just
It's
never
always
know.
iffy. You're hosting an event in March. It could snow that day or it could be 80 degrees that day. You just absolutely never know. So you have it at the Stardust. So for people that maybe aren't from the immediate area or maybe coming out of town, kind of describe that space. It lends itself well to something like this.
Yes, in fact, the Stardust is, I think, more traditionally kind of a reception venue.
Yeah.
And the owners there, they're really wonderful. They've been really flexible and excited to get more events like this. So it's a really old historic building, brick walls, beautiful bar.
Yeah.
And they're going to set up a stage for us, and we're bringing in sound, and we're hoping to pack the place, but we'll have lots of vendors, which is some of the items you see here too.
Okay.
Vendors and artists also kind of lining the walls. So when you walk in, it's kind of a mini mini festival experience, not
Yeah.
just a concert.
That's great.
Yeah, talk about some of the vendors here. We've got a few photos here from last year, but you've got some sweatshirts here on the table, a painting here from Atlanta On. She'll be there as well.
Yes, yes. You want to speak to the dyes?
Yeah, so I got a couple tie-dye sweatshirts here. This one in particular is one that I commissioned by Chelsea at Light Within Tie-Dye. She's here locally.
She's great.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep, and then this is one actually Kelsey has. And yeah, she's got t-shirts and hats.
Baby
maybe.
clothes,
Yeah.
socks, all kinds
She's got
of
a little
stuff.
bit of everything. Anything you can tie-dye, she can do,
Yes.
pretty much. So.
Yeah.
And then we've also got some hats here from Calva, which is a woman-owned business in East Moline.
Awesome.
She's amazing. She makes lots of really, really cool hats and apparel, and she'll be selling some stuff there too.
Yeah, I think she was actually on the
Yeah,
show
sounds familiar,
not
yeah.
so long ago, and she is amazing. Like, has amazing products for people. You wanted to incorporate both the vendors, small businesses here in the community, and music, of course, which is what you do. So it's not just the textures that we will be delighted to hear at this event, but you also have invited other bands to join as well. So talk about the decision to do that and kind of who we're going to hear from.
Yeah, so we always want to incorporate other local acts. We want to support local. So we
Yeah.
got Garen Jost, and then Rude Punch, of course, who's
great.
a long-standing group in this area.
Yeah.
They're great. And then we always want to try to pull somebody that's like a regional act, and that's where Old Shoe comes in, in which that was kind of a dream come true. They're a bigger regional act that's kind of in the jam band genre. I think they're from the Chicago area.
Wow.
And we were, originally it was just kind of like, let's just see if we can get them. We probably won't, and then end up working
Dream
out.
come true.
I mean,
Yeah,
you never
so
know unless you
super
ask,
stoked.
right?
Yes.
The worst they can say is no.
Yep. So yeah, we're super excited that we got Old Shoe, and
That's
it's going to be a
great.
good lineup.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've got many different genres covered, and more importantly, Kelsey, this is for everyone, the whole family. Kids are welcome as well.
Yes, yeah, we wanted to make something more inclusive, and we started the show a little bit earlier. And in addition to some of the local acts, we also have 2 student bands from the Quad City Rec Academy.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Mercury's Crown and Mental Riot, who you'll see here listed on the poster, they're really, really awesome. In fact, I think Mercury's Crown just won a Battle of the Bands.
Wow.
So we're excited to have them, and so we're going to start the show early in the day with their music and just invite all families. Don't drop your kids off,
No,
hang out.
you gotta
with them.
gotta supervise them.
Yeah.
Of course. No, that is really
Yeah.
great, and it's nice, to be able to be inclusive in that way, and then get the entire family out to experience something like this. Because of course, we love a 21 and up, but it's great to have the kids seeing the music and dancing to it as well.
Yes.
When they can. And I want to mention too, you guys have partnered with Great River Brewery this year as well, which is awesome. They're basically right next door.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you guys are going to have food and things like that.
That'll be kind of nice because the venue itself doesn't lend to a kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
But we thought, man, people are going to be hungry, especially those that want to attend all day.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Great River, we talked with them, and they said, heck yes. So we're basically going to have food right next door all day. So if people want to go and just have a seat,
great.
have a bite, they're good to go. Or after the show even. We've actually got an after party there as well.
At Great
Oh,
River
that's great.
Brewery.
Yes, with music from John Colborne.
And that is 21 and up.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
kids
You have to have that. So what are your hopes for people to take away from the event if they didn't go last year?
You want to speak to that?
Yeah, it's just something to bring the community together, to try to start another
all
local
about, yeah.
event, and just having some, like you said, in the spring to kind of offset all the busyness of the summer. There's so many great events in the summer, and we just want to get this the new season started right, and
Yeah.
so with bringing all our friends and hopefully make some new friends too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that you guys sold out last year, your first year of the event.
Yeah.
So, and I can completely understand why.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about where people can get tickets, and they can do that online ahead of time, so they don't have to worry about not having any left on the day of. So you can purchase tickets to the spring thing in advance at eventbrite.com, correct? Correct. And if you want to learn more about it or find a link to purchase tickets, just visit their event page on Facebook. You can also head to the band's website, which is thetexturesband.com. There you can find out about the event and the band and all the people in it. Thank you so much for
sounds like
joining
a
us
great
today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, well, coming up on Quad Cities Live, gardening season right around the corner. The Illinois Extension will help us clarify important terms to know when shopping and planting.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Do you know the difference between an annual and a perennial? What about the characteristics of warm and cool season crops? Well, if you are planting a garden this spring, those are some terms that you're going to want to brush up on.
Yeah, we're brushing up right now with Emily Swihart. She's a horticulture educator with the Illinois Extension. Emily, welcome back.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Yes, always a pleasure to have you because we always learn something new.
Yeah.
Morgan and I, not much.
You don't know.
Not much of gardeners here. But you know, now is a good time to brush up on these terms just so we don't get frustrated or do things incorrectly as we're planning our planting here for the spring.
Yeah, this is a little nerdy, you know, doing some vocabulary
nerdy.
lessons,
No.
Yeah.
but it's really important because I've heard some of these terms, have people confused by them and
Yeah.
the meaning of them, and I don't want people to end up with something either they don't want or
Right.
just get frustrated
Yeah.
because of a misunderstanding. So let's clear up some of the common ones today.
Yeah. Okay.
So first, annual, biennial, and perennial.
Yes.
Okay. So you would think annual might mean a plant comes back every year.
That's what I initially thought.
Yeah, it does not.
No.
It completes its life cycle
one and done.
in 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so it germinates, grows foliage, develops a flower, sets seed, and then it dies. So this is one and done. Yep.
Okay.
Biennial, and this one you won't see very often, but it's important to know
Yeah,
that
I
it
have it.
exists.
Yeah.
So things like a hollyhock, there's some carrot family members that are biennials, but this is a 2-year life cycle.
Oh.
So they will germinate and develop foliage in the first year, but you won't see a flower. That goes in the second year.
Okay.
And so they'll overwinter and then grow and develop a flower in the second year. A perennial lives for 3 or more years.
Okay.
Yes.
That varies. So some are very short-lived, so it would be just a 3-year perennial. Others live for decades,
Yeah.
like
I need more of
woody
those.
trees,
Yes.
right?
I need more of those that
Yep.
just like pop out and I didn't have to do anything.
Not
Yeah.
as much work.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can see, so this is one thing I want people to be cautious of. So you'll see it on plant tags, and they,
Oh, yeah, okay.
garden centers oftentimes have annuals and perennials kind of segregated, you know,
Yes.
in different sections, except when it comes to seeds. So you can see on these flower packets, they have this little label up top.
Yeah.
Let's see right there. And so
Oh, there
one
we
of
go.
them says, oh, there we go. You know, they're beautiful flowers. One
Yeah.
says annual, one says perennial. So
Oh,
just
yeah.
be careful because your annuals you can experiment more with. You
Yeah.
can kind of put them in like a container or in like a, maybe fill in a spot, and you're not committed to it for long term.
Right.
Whereas perennials, you want to be a little more careful.
Coming back.
About where you put it, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
so moving on, we want to talk about how to plant our selected species. So what does direct sow and transplant
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so some plants need either a longer growing season, so they just take longer to mature,
Okay.
or we just like to have a harvest sooner. So
Okay.
those would be things that you would want to transplant. These we're planting. This is not the horticultural term, but I like to think of them as baby plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are plants we're putting in the ground. They're
Sure.
seedlings.
Okay.
And so they're started, some of them are started right now, others will be started a little bit later.
Okay.
Like tomatoes, right? Tomatoes, and you'll see on the package it says, start seeds indoors in a sunny location 6 weeks prior to warm weather.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if you get a seed packet that says that, you need to plan to start them indoors
Oh wow.
early.
That sounds complicated.
Other things like, you can get them at garden centers too. They'll do the work
Okay.
for you.
There
Oh,
we go.
good.
Yeah, we
Okay.
like
Yep. So other things will say like seed directly outdoors on the seed packets on the back. I tried
Oh,
to
yeah.
highlight it for folks. That means just put it in the soil. It will either not tolerate transplant or it'll just grow so quickly that we can put them in the soil when the weather
So I'm
warms. and
surprised.
they'll grow.
It's always a
Yeah.
surprise.
Yep. Seed packets will tell you a lot of information.
Okay.
All right. Can we talk about tomatoes?
Yeah, let's do it.
I would absolutely love that. Mine
All
did
right.
not grow last year.
Okay. Oh, one more thing. Days to maturity. So you'll see that on packets. That is the from the date of planting. All right. And so
Oh, okay.
just days to harvest. So for the winters, the squash that I have here, it says 90 days. That is from the time you plant the seed. So
Okay.
or plant the transplant.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't need to know when the transplant was started.
Days to harvest, or yeah, I see
Yep.
it. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So let's talk about probably everybody's favorite garden plant, or most people's favorite garden plant, the tomato.
Yes.
Everyone loves a fresh
I'm
tomato.
very disappointed.
They are. We'll work
Listen
on it.
carefully.
We'll work on it.
I could be calling you
that's fine.
every day.
So tomatoes. So there are, dozens of different varieties, different types. What I want everyone to understand right now is that they will all say either determinate or indeterminate. All
Okay.
right. So we have 2 different types of tomatoes here,
Yes.
for folks. All right. We've got a paste tomato, aroma, very popular, and then we've got slicer, black crim, an heirloom cultivar.
Okay.
So you can see on the back. I'll give you each one of those.
Yeah.
It says determinate or indeterminate.
Yes.
Okay.
The determinant. So what you have here with the
Yeah,
aroma.
the aroma is determined.
Those plants will grow to a predetermined size. Like it's determined by the genes of the plant, but
Okay.
it grows to a size and then it stops growing and sets fruit. The advantage of this is that it can be in a smaller, like a smaller site,
Right.
and it won't take over, a garden area. And you get a harvest all at once. So you can, like with Romas, a lot of times we use them for canning.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can have all of your tomatoes kind of come ripe at the same time.
Okay.
With the indeterminate plants, these keep growing throughout the season, so they can get quite large.
Sure.
18,
Okay.
20 feet in
Oh,
some
wow.
cases.
That's
yes.
something I want.
So they're going to need some staking, or you're going to need to accommodate this large plant over time in your
Yeah.
landscape. But they will give you a harvest throughout the season.
Okay.
So if you want an extended
That's what I want.
harvest,
Yeah.
you're going to want to look for those
I'm
indeterminate.
learning so much today.
All right, and you know what? On the back of these as well, it has a map of when you should start planting, which is helpful as well. So Morgan, for your tomatoes,
Yes.
Yeah.
April through June is when you want to start planting.
Yeah, maybe
Yes.
I did it too late
Yeah.
or something.
I don't.
We'll get to the
we'll
bottom
talk.
of it.
Yeah,
We'll talk.
we'll figure that out.
We're going to take that
We'll work on
offline.
But it does say, so there are these general maps on the back.
Yeah.
I still want people to be careful because even here, like April is a little
Here's
too
tricky.
early, is a little too
Definitely.
early.
Yeah.
So there's called the estimated frost-free date.
Yeah.
It is May 12th,
Sure.
approximately here, and that is when we kind of draw the line between your cool season crops and your warm season crops. Cool season crops can tolerate those cooler temperatures that we have here between now and then.
Okay.
Between 50 degrees and 75 degrees. These crops thrive in cooler soils and cooler daytime, nighttime temperatures. And there's a
Okay.
whole bunch of them listed
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They
your
will
veggies.
they will suffer actually in the winter or in the summer months. And so
Okay.
you're going to want spring and fall would be the seasons for those. Then in your warm season crops, these do not like those cooler temperatures that we
Okay.
have in the spring and the fall. So you want to plant those after the risk of frost is passed, and the warmer, soils have warmed and the daytime temperatures have warmed.
I'm glad you said that
good info.
last frost date of May 12th or so, because anytime I'm doing the weather around this time of year, I always tell people,
Yeah.
especially when we're forecasting 80 degrees tomorrow,
Yes.
don't get out in the garden.
Right.
Rule of thumb, wait till Mother's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can start planting some of these cool season crops. It's a little risky. I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun and try like onions and a few of those.
Yeah.
Knowing they might get hit by a hard frost later.
Right.
But I'll succession plant, and I'm not waiting
risk
because
you're
of your
willing to take.
because of your forecast,
Yes.
Kyle.
She's
but
an
it's
expert, though.
it's a risk
Yes.
I am willing to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know
But I
how
will
that
hold off on the tomatoes and the squash for sure.
Well, we've certainly learned a lot today. So if
Yeah.
you want to learn more about gardening and gardening terminology, wow, visit extension.illinois.edu. Emily, as always, great information.
Yes, thank
Always
you.
enjoy having you on the show.
My pleasure,
You
guys.
do, yes. Coming up on Quad Cities Live, getting your waterproofing and foundation questions answered. Ace Waterproofing is here with ways to better protect our homes from snow melt and spring flooding.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Well, like we just talked about, April showers can bring May flowers, but sometimes all that rain can lead to flooded basements and damage to your home's foundation. Here to help answer all of our questions is Adam Ellis from Ace Waterproofing and Basement Solutions. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes, well,
Always
we have.
enjoy it.
Yeah, we've got lots of questions every year, and this is really the time for it. We've been hearing our meteorologist pretty much every day this week kind of warn us about a storm that we're looking ahead to on Friday, and that's just the season for it. So let's start with the weather and just the basics. How things like rain, snow melt, really how that can affect someone's foundation.
Absolutely. So, and it can really affect it in a magnitude of ways.
Okay.
One of the biggest reasons is it's cooler this time of year. A lot of that moisture is trapped in the ground. When we have freezing temps below, at night, sometimes it can cause some frost heaves, which cause structural damage, new cracks in your foundation you may not know about.
Yep.
But more often than not, when the spring rains come around, the issue is that ground is still pretty saturated. So when we get these rains, they typically, the soil can't absorb much more of the water. So
Right.
it finds its way everywhere you don't want it to go, into your
Okay.
basement and into your crawl space typically.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. And it can end up in our basements due to a variety of factors. So so those are really them, is like our changing seasons here in the Midwest.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, great. So gutters, how do they play a part in keeping a basement dry? And I've seen a little bit of this. It's like a lot to do with how they're placed and things like that. But kind of explain it for people watching.
So as homeowners, we have two areas of water we need to manage. We need to manage the water coming off the roof, and we need to manage groundwater.
Groundwater, got it.
Managing roof water is the first place you typically want to start. You want to look at your gutters, your downspouts, ensure that they are discharging plenty far away from the home. Other things you can look for in that same capacity is to make sure you've got good slope, no puddling water in your yard. But at the end of the day, groundwater, a lot of times that's the second area you have to manage. It has a mind of its own. You can do everything in the world topically, but if that water's found a path underground into your basement, it's very, very hard to correct sometimes without a proper solution or a drainage system installed to take care of it.
Okay, that makes sense. Sub pumps, do they guarantee that you have a dry basement?
Nope, so this is a common myth. I've got a sump pump in my basement is waterproof. The issue with the sump pump is without a proper channel to get the water into the sump pump, the only water that it's going to discharge away from the home is what is right there in that area, what can find its way into the basin. So the sump pump is the mechanism that discharges the water away from the home. So if you have water coming in on one side of your basement, you have a sump basin on the other, it's because there's not a proper channel or a proper system getting the water into that sump basin.
Okay, so and not everyone has those, but it's still, nonetheless, it's a good question for somebody considering it. A lot of homeowners use waterproof paint when they first start seeing water in their basement. I would be probably a prime example of that. I have like one of the very oldest homes. My basement is not finished. The floors in the basement are painted. That's what we used. So is this a good idea, first of all? And does waterproof paint actually work?
So it really depends on the scenario.
Okay.
You think of it this way, waterproof paint is typically a Band-Aid. If I have a bottle of water and I poke a hole in the bottom, it's going to leak out, but I can put a bandage over it. It's only going to retain that water back as long as the adhesive of the Band-Aid is still there. Waterproof paint does the same thing.
Okay.
Water's still on the backside pushing against it, and eventually that adhesion is going to let go, and that water's going to come right back out where you don't want it. So waterproof paint can be a very temporary solution, and it has its place in the right manners. But the issue is it is a Band-Aid solution more often than not.
Yeah, it's not going to be a permanent solution,
No.
especially if you are dealing with a recurring issue.
Absolutely.
Something along those lines. Okay, so you're the expert here today. What are the other ways that we can be addressing water in the basement?
So again, looking topically is one of the #1 ways. You're always looking for your downspouts that are connected, pulling water, anything you could do, concrete slope back into the house, anything you could do to drive it away. But unfortunately, a lot of times water has a mind of its own, especially underground groundwater. You can't see where it's coming from. A lot of times there's not much you can do without installing a proper system or finding that proper solution to take care of the water issue for you.
Okay, and that is really what you do
Absolutely.
all the time is waterproofing people's basements. So if somebody does need work like this done in their basement, kind of explain what that process is like, really from start to finish. And then they give you a call, you guys come out and take a look, then what happens?
Yep, we make it real easy. So you can call, email, or go to our website and fill out a form. We'll reach out and schedule a time to get a certified foundation specialist to come over, take a look at your home, give you an honest assessment, and provide you with the proper solutions to take care of the issues.
Okay, does it take a long time, the whole process?
Not typically.
Okay.
It varies depending on what you've got going on with the house. If it's a simple water leak, it's pretty cut and dry for us. We can look at it, know the style of your home and your foundation, and propose a solution relatively quick.
Okay, awesome. Well, we saw all kinds of really great before and after photos too, so thank you. I think that really is helpful, providing that information for people. And if you're watching right now, you want to learn more about the variety of services that are offered at Ace Waterproofing and Basement Solutions, you can just visit them on the web. Really, everything is listed there, including some of those photos that we talked about. The website is there on your screen. It is acewbs.com. Adam, thank you. You make it really easy to understand. So yeah,
Absolutely.
we appreciate you coming by today.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course. Well, still to come in our next half hour, Johnny's Italian Steakhouse is in the QCL kitchen today, cooking up an appetizer and a dessert for us. Plus, the next topic in a workshop series at the Butterworth Education Center, showing homeowners how to improve their property maintenance skills.
And we are still on track for that first alert day tomorrow evening for a line of powerful thunderstorms that could produce some damaging wind, large hail, even a few tornadoes. We'll iron all of that out after a very nice evening ahead, coming up in your first alert forecast.
Accurate and reliable. This is your First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Well, all eyes are on our first alert day here for Friday evening. We've got the time frame from 6 to midnight. Still some timing differences that we need to iron out here over the next 12 to 24 hours. But it looks like a good bet, especially after sunset, for these storms to move through. But during the day, we really need to watch for some gusty winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour in the afternoon. That's going to lead to a very high fire danger with that low relative humidity. But those dew points are going decline, a little more moisture, and that's going to be one of the ingredients for an area-wide threat of severe weather. The main threat by far is going to be damaging wind gusts 70 to potentially 80 miles per hour. We could also be talking about a few tornadoes and some embedded large hail with this line of storms. And this is all part of a very broad area of severe weather threat here, basically from the Gulf Coast almost up to the Canadian border. Notice we've got that level 4 risk right smack dab in the middle here, from the Quad Cities through St. Louis down to just north of Memphis, Tennessee. Here locally, it's about near the Quad Cities metro, Muscatine, Kewanee, and points off to the south where we have that higher risk of the more damaging thunderstorms. But I think all of us are going to be impacted by this line of storms moving through. So let's kind of break down each individual threat. This map right here is showing the damaging wind probability, and notice these hash marks here, these dashed lines moving. That indicates a potential for significant wind gusts, again anywhere from 70 to 80 miles per hour. All of us are hatched out in that area for that, so that's one risk that we're watching. The other risk is the potential for a few tornadoes. Now these are going to be very fast moving storms. We're talking 50 to 60 miles per hour, so you have to take action right away when those warnings are issued. So any tornado that does happen will be very brief, but the potential for maybe a couple of stronger tornadoes is especially true here as you head south of the Quad Cities, especially in southeastern Iowa, west central Illinois. I think that's going to be the higher tornado threat. And we're also looking at a hail threat as well. It looks like maybe initially earlier on in the evening, the hail threat might be a little higher here to the southeast of the Quad Cities, but some of those hailstones could be larger than the size of quarters. So that's something that we're going to have to continue to track here as we head into Friday evening. But in the meantime, very quiet. Everywhere Camera Network shows lots of sunshine. Those temperatures have bounced back to the mid 60s to low 70s. And of course, we've got a lunar eclipse. Lots going on here in the weather and beyond over the next 24 hours. So the eclipse will peak just about 2 o'clock in the morning. We should see maybe a few passing clouds. Otherwise, we will see kind of a mix of clouds and a clear sky. So you might get a few brief glimpses of that. It'll be kind of like a blood orange, blood red moon there. And then temperatures really skyrocket tomorrow into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees as we get those very strong winds in here. So yes, another hazard is the wind tomorrow. A wind advisory in effect here from 1 p.m. Friday to 1 a.m. Saturday for winds up to 50 miles per hour. So there's the storm out just west of the Rockies. It'll really gather strength and deepen or strengthen as we get east of the Rockies. So let's walk you through Friday. Again, don't let your guard down during the day. We're going to see the sunshine, more clouds in the afternoon as we see increased moisture. And there we are at 6 o'clock. That line of storms developing out in portions of central and south central Iowa. Those quickly track to the northeast. So by 7 p.m., it's approaching areas like Mount Pleasant, Ottumwa. These will be near Muscatine, the Mississippi River down to Oquawka, Burlington by about 8 o'clock. So between 8 and 10, this will move through the Quad Cities metro, heading down toward Galesburg, even up toward Clinton, Savannah. And then between 9 and 11, these will continue to track east and eventually outside of our viewing area here as we head into Monday. So a lot of things that we're tracking with this severe weather threat. You can get the latest updates at kwqc.com as well as on the First Alert weather app. But I tell you what, tomorrow is just going to be almost feeling like a late spring or early summer with those temperatures near 80. If we reach that, that breaks our record high that was set back 78 back in 2012. Very warm March there. A little bit of a wake-up call here on Saturday. Not too bad, still a little warmer, but it'll be 55 in the morning, probably around parade time, and then temperatures fall. It will be very windy. Could be a few showers in the morning. And Morgan, you were talking about the weather woes in March. I mean, this 7-day is it. We've got temperatures ranging from the 40s to near 80 degrees, kind of going up and down. So a lot to keep track of here over the next several days.
It is crazy how many degrees we lose between Friday and Sunday.
I know. It's definitely going to feel like whiplash for sure.
And you sprinkled a little lunar eclipse in there too.
Yeah, I did. I know. It's a lot to keep track of. Hopefully we're doing a good job on
you guys are doing a great job
keeping it there. Yeah.
All right, Kyle, thank you.
You're welcome.
Coming up after the break, we will join the chef from Johnny's Italian Steakhouse in the QCL kitchen and make 2 popular menu items.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Oh, if you are looking for a date night spot, Johnny's Italian Steakhouse has a lot to offer.
Yeah, of course, they are known for their steak, but they also have soup, salad, seafood, pasta, and much more, including dessert.
Yeah.
Chef Kevin Hartz is back in the QCL kitchen with us today. Kevin, welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Firing that thing up.
Yeah, you're firing up the pan there. We've got
Yep, so we're gonna
brulee here too. So
oil
we got a lot of fun here over the next few minutes. Now, you promised me last time banana cheesecake, and we're going to get
He's
to
coming
that.
through, yeah.
But one of the dishes you're making for us now are your crab cakes.
yes, and it's one of my favorite dishes.
Okay. What? So this is something, I'm assuming you played it on this here.
No, this is the salad that's going to go on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the
Don't
lobster.
I thought the same thing.
No, we're going to take the lobster hollandaise.
Okay.
We'll put it on the plate like this.
Ooh, that
So-
looks good.
It does, yeah.
Gives us a nice
Lobster
good-
hollandaise.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's really good. I love hollandaise. It's one of my favorite sauces.
Yeah, same. Well, what do you put, what makes a good crab cake? Because I
And-
see some color in there.
Yes.
In my
Love color.
opinion, red peppers, green onions, and Old Bay is, I think,
Old
just
Bay.
the basic you need.
Red
to
peppers,
perfect it.
green onions, Old Bay.
have the
Yep.
spice.
Seasoning. Yeah.
Yes. Some egg whites are in there, and some breadcrumbs to hold everything together.
Yeah. So this is a pretty popular menu item.
Yeah, it's
Getting
getting
there?
there. It's
We're
getting
gonna
there.
elevate it here
This
today.
We are, yes.
This
We're
is
gonna
kind
make
of
you go
a-
down there and order it.
This is kind of a newer dish,
Okay.
so that's why I'm trying to get this one out there. But this is when
Yeah.
people order this, they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite crab cake dishes.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right, so we've got the salad to go along with that.
Yep.
Does this pair well with a certain drink?
So,
Or maybe you haven't thought of that?
no, I haven't really thought of that
Okay.
that much, but I don't know if you guys want to do the cheesecake.
Yeah, let's do the cheesecake.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
do it. So
Here.
we got the banana cheesecake. You said this is your favorite.
Yes.
You and your wife and your kids love this.
Yeah, they love.
got some fire here.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love
I'm
the
gonna reference
cheesecake.
the fire.
So
right, so
basically,
we're-
Yeah. What are you doing right now?
we're just basically putting some sugar on here, and we're caramelizing the sugar, getting a nice little char flavor on there.
Oh wow.
So kind of like a creme brulee. You're getting all the sugars all crystallized, and see how it looks
look at
all.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a fun job if you get to use a.
Yeah, play with fire.
Yes, and then this is our house-made rum butter sauce. This stuff's
Yum.
really good too. This is one of my favorite sauces too. We also have the lemon curd that goes on the limoncello cheesecake or limoncello
Ooh,
cake.
Yeah.
That's another really good one
Limoncello
too.
cheesecake. That sounds good too.
Yeah.
It really does. I'm all about the desserts
Yes,
today.
yeah,
You mentioned a
absolutely.
couple other ones. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to Johnny's and having dessert.
Yeah. This dessert, I think the banana cheesecake is really underrated, but
It's your favorite.
It's my favorite. I think it needs to be more popular.
All right,
Okay,
I'm
well, we're
give
going to do it.
I'm gonna give it a shot here. A little bit of a sauce in here too.
I want the crust.
Oh yeah, the crust is almost. That's a good part. All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh. That cheesecake crust is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not a banana person. I like a banana. I don't ever order desserts with
Same. Mm-hmm.
with them or anything like that. I'm like strictly like, give me all the chocolate, all the cheesecake.
Yeah.
This is really, really good though.
I think the key here is
I get it.
the fresh banana.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not artificially flavored. I mean, you can see the
caramelized?
you
No.
said roasted bananas.
Yeah, we roast them in some sugar and stuff like that, and then roast
So
the
yeah, you can
bananas.
actually, yeah, you can see that there.
Yeah.
There. Ooh, that's good. And
Oh my
that little
gosh.
that sauce.
Is it crab
roasted
cake
as
time?
well.
Have you ever had a crab cake, Kyle?
You know what? I don't think I have. I don't even think I've had lobster before. I don't think I've had crab.
We can try
so-
this too, right? I'm
Yep.
just digging in.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Try this. Oh, so we put the salad on top. All right. No,
Yeah.
This is not a TV bite, Kyle.
I know.
Let's go.
This isn't a TV bite. You're not going to hear from Kyle or I for like the next 25 seconds because I'm taking a giant bite.
Yeah. So Kevin, tell us some of the more popular items this time of year.
The popular items are like scallop and risotto. That's really good. The scallop arugula.
I
The
love
one
that.
dish I did last time, that one was really good too. Lobster mac and cheese. That's another really popular one.
Oh yeah,
hungry
everyone
now.
loves their mac.
Yeah.
Sure.
This
That
is
was-
incredible.
Go
this is
go
really
try this.
good.
Yeah.
This is good.
very good.
And the lobster what did
Mac
you
and
say?
cheese?
No, the hollandaise.
Yeah, lobster hollandaise. Yep.
That is incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm just going to keep eating. You guys can finish up the interview.
All right. Well, if you want to go try these crab cakes or that banana cheesecake or any of the other desserts, you can head to Johnny's Italian Steakhouse. They're located on River Drive in downtown Moline. And if you want to see their full menu, you can go to johnn'sitaliansteakhouse.com. Chef Kevin,
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
Thanks for reading
Thank
my
you.
what are you going
line.
to promise me next time?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No,
Turtle
promise
cheesecake.
me.
Turtle cheesecake.
Yeah, promise me.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Turtle
Turtle
cheesecake.
All right.
Yeah.
Or limoncello. Either one. Pick one.
Turtle cheesecake.
Turtle
both
cheesecake.
good.
All right. I
Ignore
got you.
me.
Ignore him.
All right, well, up next on Quad Cities Live, a workshop series helping homeowners take care of their properties by growing their home improvement skills. That's next.
Tomorrow on Quad Cities Live, we will get a preview of the Spring Style Show, a fashion event combining shopping, socializing, and fundraising for an important nonprofit.
And speaking of fundraising, Sanctuary Studios will join us in studio with a special announcement celebrating 1 year of Monument in Community Care, or Movement in Community Care, rather. That and much more tomorrow on QCL. They will do a much better job than I just did. I'm so sorry.
To be fair, it's hard to read the prompter.
It truly
where we're
is.
sitting.
Yeah, the lights.
You know,
everything
I
else.
thought Monument, go with it. You know, but all right. Well, you can save more money by making energy efficient changes to your home. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, the Handy at Home Workshop Series can help.
Yeah, Jan Stouffer is here representing the Butterworth Center and Dear Wyman House, which hosts the series. Jan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So remind us all what Handy at Home is. It's a very useful workshop.
Yeah.
And how did it come to be?
Right, so the Moline Community Development Corporation and the Butterworth Center and Dear Wyman House have partnered to create this series that teaches homeowners how to be better stewards for their home and also trying to save them a little bit of money. So ultimately what we would like to do is teach people how to do basic home repair, know when to stop, hire a professional, and negotiate when to for them to stop so that they can finish up the project.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I love it when you explain it that way too. What do you think are some of the real benefits to homeowners learning how to do some of this stuff themselves?
Well, you know, a lot of the people who have signed up for this workshop are folks who have absolutely no knowledge of just really basic things. They don't know how to hold a hammer.
Right.
They may be unfamiliar with a putty knife or what type of screwdriver or what is a washer, you know, and why do you need it?
Yeah.
So these
I feel like you're describing me right now.
Partially me as well.
Yeah, no,
I wish it was
just
more handy.
I know it is. It's just like when we were talking with Emily about the gardening vocabulary.
Yeah.
You know, it just you're just a more well-rounded person. Even if you just know how to describe, like you mentioned, if you're talking with a contractor or a carpenter, knowing what some of these things mean, it's just going to be beneficial for you.
Right,
in
knowing the
long run.
language, understanding how the systems work, all of that helps you negotiate those contracts as you move forward and working with the contractor.
And we're looking at some of the photos from last year's event. And one thing to note here is that you're really going to get the hands-on help and experience because these are pretty small classes in each workshop.
It is. We limit the attendance to about 25 people.
Okay.
And that way we are able to give them more attention, they get the hands-on experience, they leave empowered. A lot of times we are even able to answer specific questions about some of the projects they want to tackle at home.
That's nice, yeah. Well, the next workshop is Monday, March 24th. So what will be the focus for this class? I see Mid-American Energy is partnering with you guys on this.
Yes, we'll have Mid-American Energy there to teach us about energy efficiency steps that we can take.
Nice.
I think a lot of the time we think about energy efficiency at the onset of winter. We don't want those cold drafts.
Right.
But we also need to think about this in the summer months too. We want to protect our home and keep ourselves comfortable in the heat as well.
Yeah.
And also save a little bit of money. We'll have aerator. So anybody who signs up for this workshop will get an energy efficiency kit.
Okay, and that's what you
we
have
have.
here. Yeah, she brought like a box. We were going to do an unboxing, but we thought it would be better to
That's the
lay
thing to do these
everything
days.
out for people. Yeah, so what are some of the items in here? I see light bulbs and all kinds of stuff that I don't know how to use.
So there are, LED light bulbs. There is an aerator for the kitchen sink, a low-flow shower head, some plumber's tape, door sweeps. That's what this thing is. Pipe insulation wrap, and weather stripping, which is right here. So that's your draft dodger.
Oh, yes. I need to invest in those. I really need to sign up for this workshop and probably some of the other workshops that you have coming up as well, because each one has its own, I guess, theme to it. So what do you have coming up next month?
In April, we're going to talk about bathroom plumbing. So if you come to this workshop and you get your low-flow shower head and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, bring it back to the April workshop and we'll tell you how to install that. Or if you need some help understanding how plumber's tape works or any of that stuff, we'll talk about that. And then in May, we're going to be looking at electrical issues And in June, we're going to have a realtor there to help us understand some home improvement projects that we can do to increase the value of our home.
That's nice.
Yeah, we've just kind of
kitchens and bathrooms.
Not that we're looking to sell our home, but we got it assessed recently, and it really opened our eyes to what we really need to do to help increase that value. You know, the face value of it as well. So what is the biggest? Do you have people who come to multiple events like the same people?
Yes,
yeah,
we do. Once they come and they realize that they're learning basic skills, and many of them have a lot of projects in their home, they're coming back to get more of those hands-on experiences and
they see how valuable this is. Yeah, absolutely. So the plumbing one is we've got the energy efficiency next, which was on the 24th, I believe I mentioned. Then the one in April is plumbing perfections, the bathroom. So my tip for if something's wrong in the bathroom is you take the top off the back of the toilet and you jiggle the thing.
Jiggle the handle.
Yes.
You start there.
That's my expert.
Yes, or if the drain in the sink is not working, the kids put a toy down in it and you take that apart. But it's important. It's important to know beyond that.
But
that wasn't a real tip.
But also, no, it is, because you start with the simplest, right? And then you work your way to the more complicated. If you have a running toilet, you don't necessarily have to turn the water off.
You jiggle
and dig into the toilet, right? You wiggle the handle.
Good tip, Morgan. Pro tips for Morgan. Well, the Energy Efficiency Workshop, as we mentioned, is coming up on Monday, March 24th at 6 p.m. And if you want to register for any of the other upcoming Handy at Home workshops, you can call the number on your screen or visit the website, molinecdc.org. Jan, thank you so much for joining us. And
if you need anybody else to help instruct the class, you know where to find me.
I will.
There she is.
Thank you so much, Jan, and thank you so much for watching.
Your News at 4 with Sharon is coming up next. Have a great day.